Yes, it's time once again to go out to the other coast of the United States, out to Hollywood, California, where they make all those movies that we're supposed to go see. And to tell us which ones are good and which ones are bad, here's Michael Snyder. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Alex, and happy holidays to everybody. It's the last Culture Blast of 2018. We're going to talk about a few holiday movies, movies made for mass appeal, being released right before Christmas. Let's get to it. There's a lot fishy about Aquaman. Get it, huh? It's the latest in DC Comics' attempt to keep up with Marvel's interconnected cinematic universe with one of their own that features the superheroes of the Justice League. Aquaman is too long by at least 20 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes in total. But to its credit, it's big, it's bold, it's colorful, it's action-packed, and it's sometimes pretty quippy. The fight sequences are pretty cool, the ones that are between two people, not the giant hordes of seagoing armies fighting one another. That's pretty CGI video game stuff. And despite not being any great thespian, Jason Momoa is like immensely likable and larger than life as Arthur Curry. That's Aquaman, the hard-drinking, super-strong, water-breathing, fish-communicating, half-human, half-Atlantean heir to the throne of the undersea kingdom of Atlantis. So in this movie, Atlantis might be heading for war with us land dwellers if Arthur can't stop his half-brother Orn from taking the throne and gathering the ocean troops and attacking the surface world. By comparison to every other DC movie other than Wonder Woman, this is pretty good, but that's by comparison. The supporting cast is game. There's Tamura Morrison, the New Zealand actor as Aquaman's lighthouse keeper dad, and a slumming Nicole Kidman as Aquaman's mom, Queen Atlanta of you-know-where. You get Patrick Wilson as Orn, the devious half-brother. Willem Dafoe is here, cashing a paycheck as Atlantean Prime Minister Volko. Amber Heard as Princess Mera, Aquaman's love interest and kind of a heroine in her own right, is like Momoa. Not any great shakes in the acting department, and maybe the weak link here. But it doesn't matter much with a popcorn muncher like this. The director is James Wan, best known for horror movies like Saw and The Conjuring, but he keeps all the parts of this box office machine running at very high speed and has the expected nice touch with the creature attacks. It gets to be a soggy slog, but it does have moments of goofy fun, mostly thanks to Momoa. The fans will like it. Anyone who doesn't like superhero movies should probably stay away. Bumblebee is next, and there's something ultimately ridiculous about all the Transformers movies beyond them being wild science fiction about giant robots from another world, of warring robots that come to Earth and wreak havoc. And Bumblebee is one of these movies. It's kind of a prequel to the other Transformers movies. I mean, I know that movies like this are originally based on the Hasbro toy collection that converted into cars and trucks and such, but fully undermining any suspension of disbelief here, these robots in this movie transform into what appear to be familiar types of Earth vehicles, even on their own planet, although with no knowledge of Earth and our culture till they get here. So that's sort of crazy from the get-go. All of that aside, this prequel, which is set in the late 1980s and centers on, I guess, a fan favorite Transformer, Bumblebee, the yellow one, the little one, and an outcast teenage girl who bonds with him. It's the best of these largely lame movies. By the way, all previously directed, I think, by bottom-line oriented mass appeal blockbuster machine Michael Bay. Maybe it's better since Bay didn't direct this one. I don't know. Maybe it's since Hallie Steinfeld is given some real teen drama to play as the mechanic Charlie, who bonds with Bumblebee. And she does a very good job of it. The director is Travis Knight. The screenwriter is Christina Hodson. Maybe it was a woman taking the reins as a screenwriter. I don't know. It's better than the usual trap, but I'm not a big fan of the series, so take that for what it's worth. Okay, it's hard and probably mean to argue with the well-crafted, family-friendly entertainment of Mary Poppins Returns. I mean, the plot, the script, the cast, the execution, they're all top shelf. but it is a sequel from Disney, who released the memorable musical Mary Poppins decades ago and apparently still holds the rights to author P.L. Travers' prickly but kind English nanny character, who was played to near perfection by Julie Andrews in the original movie. And when you have a marketable IP in Hollywood, intellectual property, I mean, you use it. So they try to repeat the formula of the first movie, only this one is set during the 1930s in Depression-era London, years after the events of the first film, with the Banks children that Mary watched over having grown up. Only now, Michael, the Banks boy, has 3 kids of his own that Mary Poppins returns to help confront their family issues, while at the same time helping the adult Michael and his sister Jane as they face serious economic troubles. Emily Blunt as Mary is pretty great recasting, although she's no Julie Andrews. And Broadway's own Lin-Manuel Miranda replaces Dick Van Dyke's Cockney chimney sweep from the first movie with kind of a, I guess he's a lamplighter character. By the way, his working class British accent is somewhat better than Van Dyke's terrible one. The set pieces range from kind of clever and engaging to a little too punched up and modern. And the new songs from Mark Shaman, though serviceable, don't come close to the timelessness of the Sherman Brothers' Let's Go Fly a Kite, A Spoonful of Sugar, Feed the Birds, and Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. On the upside, we get some Ben Whishaw and Emily Mortimer as Michael and Jane. Colin Firth is here as a prick banker. And there are cameos from the likes of Meryl Streep, Angela Lansbury, and good old Dick Van Dyke himself, the latter basically reminding us of how much better the first Mary Poppins movie was. This was directed by musical maven Rob Marshall of Chicago fame, and it shows. I mean, there's a lot of spit and polish here. Again, family-friendly entertainment. It's well made, and I enjoyed it to a point. Let's wrap with Welcome to Marwen, a gooey drama from director co-screenwriter Robert Zemeckis, and it's based on a true story that was made into the acclaimed and heartbreaking documentary Marwen Call, and this is very hard to watch. Welcome to Marwen is the story of an artist who's beaten senseless outside a bar by some bigots. His brain injuries are so severe that he has his memory knocked out of him. So with therapy and a very rich fantasy life that provides comfort, he regains some semblance of a normal life while also trying to express himself artistically through photographing dolls in various miniature installations that he builds. He can't draw anymore. His hands won't respond. So this is how he turns to express himself. I mean, through it all, the trauma haunts this guy, and in this movie haunts us. Steve Carell plays Mark Hogenkamp, the aforementioned artist, with Leslie Mann, Diane Kruger, Janelle Monáe, Merritt Weaver, and Gwendolyn Christie playing some of the women in his life. And the conceit here is that Mark's fantasies are kind of depicted with the actors being CGI enhanced to look like the dolls Mark uses in his installations. It's really well executed, but I don't know, it made me uncomfortable. And maybe because of how earnest it is, while veering into very disturbing aspects of the situation. I mean, for one thing, and there are other things, Mark is very attached to the dolls that he drags around with him in real life. Or maybe it's Carell who commits to the role to the point that the depiction of Mark feels more creepy than plucky or inspiring. Zemeckis directed Back to the Future and the other Back to the Future movies, which I love, but he also directed Forrest Gump, which occasionally made my skin crawl. This is like Forrest Gump crossed with the fetish aspects of Ed Wood, and that's not a recommendation. What are you watching, buddy? What are you up to?
Why did Forrest Gump make your skin crawl?
I don't know, just something about the character just didn't sit well with me. And something, it just was...
Well, it sat well with the American public. You know,
that's fine. Well, you know, I'm an outlier, I guess, huh?
Yeah, you're a real rebel. Yeah, I know there's nothing that I've seen. We watched Roma, which I liked a lot, and girlfriend thought was you know. But outside of that, nothing, you know. So I have nothing to report here.
You know, if people get a chance, maybe they should check out the Polish film Cold War. But other than that, it's been another fascinating year. You can check me out on Twitter at Culture Blaster and on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page. Again, Happy New Year to all, and that includes you, Mr. Bennett.
Thank you. If you're listening 24/7, there's more GABNet coming right up. Otherwise, have a Happy New Year and a pleasant Christmas.